right, welcome everybody. It's Jess here and I'm with the beautiful Allie May and we're going to have an amazing chat today. So if you catch us live, make sure you drop a comment in the box below, and if you're watching the replay, just hit hashtag replay and let us know what your biggest takeaway is from our chat today. So I met Allie May around 10, 11 months ago. She was actually one of my first mentors in the online space, and she really, really helped me gain some clarity around my vision, around my direction, and where I wanted to go with my life over the next 12 months to 2 years in my business. So it was really exciting to connect with Allie May, and watching her journey as she's evolved from where she's been through, and the evolution of Goddess Day has just been amazing. And I attended Allie May's embodiment session at Freedom Fest in March, and it just absolutely incredible hearing her speak. So welcome, Allie May.
Thanks, beauty. So great to be here. And I can see we've been live for 5 minutes. Is that like StreamYard, or have we been like
just for 1 minute? So it was scheduled. I moved the time back a little bit just to make sure we had time.
Beautiful. So I'm looking at 5 minutes. I'm like, oh, everyone's just got the pre-conversation. That's fine. It was my bad. Apologies for being a bit late to the call. And yeah, it's really lovely to be here. I'm so excited. You are an extraordinary woman, and thanks for inviting me to come and chat.
Happy. Thank you so much. So just want to kick things off by asking you what lights you up, like what's really filling you with purpose at the moment?
I've really connected back in with me and my body and what it is that I'm doing. And that at the moment for me is the number one focus. That's lighting me up, really working with every aspect of my being, in who I am, what makes me happy in the mornings, what feels good for weekends, relationships, everything in my home. They're the things that are really lighting me up at the moment.
Yeah, that's amazing to be able to come home to yourself and to ask yourself that question every day, like, what do I need most right now? What's going to bring me back in alignment with myself and keep me here and feeling my purpose? So has self-care and that question always been a part of your routine and something you've always embraced?
No, definitely not. And Jess and I talked about this before. I'm like, looking at my head, this is the weirdest StreamYard, just trips me out. I'm like, which way do I? It's odd. No, it hasn't, Jess. It's definitely been something that became a focus point a few years back for me. I was always a high achieving woman. I know so many women that are high achievers, get it done. Our worth is usually placed in what we do for a living. And I used to be that way. And self-care, self-nourishment, self-leadership was just like bottom of the pile. And when I started in the online space, a couple of years after studying online space, for me, I created Goddess Day as a day for me where, as a woman who was a high achiever, who still is, but that was the focus of being a high achieving woman who was experiencing burnout, fatigue, all of that. It became the priority for me to really look after myself and nurture myself. And I feel like as women, we get to a point in our lives, 26 to 40 to 26 to 35, where we actually have that breakthrough of who am I? Why am I here? What's important to me? And I feel like that's when we begin to look at, a bit more self-nourishment, self-love, self-worth. So yeah, for me, it's been a conscious journey for probably nearly 3 years now. 4 years.
4 years?
4 years ago I started, but really taking the time nearly 3 years ago.
Yeah. No, I could really feel that with like you say, we wrap our identity up so much in our job and our career and our roles, our titles that we give ourselves, and we forget about the person underneath and their dreams and aspirations and just the soul calling on that person and what they want to be doing. So it is really, really important and so valuable to carve that out and actually honor that process. And understanding too that when you do that, everything else starts to fall into place a little bit easier and a little bit more aligned as well. So what suggestions would you have for someone who is new to this concept on a day-to-day basis?
Just start where you're at. Meet yourself with where you're at. There's so much where we can be, it's like, I need to, like, get rid of need out of the vocabulary. That's one thing. there's so many things for us as women where we have a lot to do in a day. If we're mothers, we're partners, we look after the house, we might be working a job or have our own business. There's a lot of things that us women do in our own world. So meet yourself with where you're at. And then just start slowly. Start with something in your day. So it might be, if you're a mum with lots of kids, it could be just literally taking an intentional shower for yourself. If your kids aren't like screaming in the background. It could be, going outside on the grass, take the kids out. If you're a mama, take the kids out and you sit with intention of just being present with yourself. There's lots of little things we can do if you don't have kids and you're working a job and you're working a lot of hours. It's like, well, what are you doing for yourself in the morning? Are you prepared for your day so you're not running around, in chaos? What does that look like? Just taking some time to go, well, how can I make my morning fit for me in such a way where I feel good and I'm not in stress from the moment that I wake up till I leave the house, work all day, come home in the same space? If you're someone who is blessed to not have children, I mean, it's a blessing to have children, but doesn't have children, isn't working a job, you're just the lady of leisure, yet you're still not giving to yourself, then what can you bring into your life to give to yourself? What does your morning ritual look like? What does your day look like for you? Are you getting sunshine? Are you nurturing your body? These are just basic things. Like, it's just the starting point, right? It's like, you matter. Every woman matters. So what are you doing to treat yourself like you matter?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think sometimes we can get caught up in thinking that a goddess day has to be a day at a spa or eating at a fancy restaurant or things that require us to book in or pay for things. And it's about just that energy, like you say, of giving back to yourself and going, okay, well, where can you carve out 10 minutes or where can you carve out half an hour and do a meditation or lay on the grass in the sun and just soak it up and actually experience that for yourself in your current reality and just start to tweak things a little bit to better serve yourself.
Yeah, Goddess Day. And I think there's this misconception around Goddess Day being what you just said, Jess, like that you have to have a lot of money to go and to look after yourself. So for me, Goddess Day is not just something that we do on a set day or a half day and then that's it. It's like, that's how it started. I'm just going to turn off my Facebook. That's how it started. It started as, for me as an entrepreneur and was making great money at the time. I was booking massages and taking myself out for nice lunches and doing whatever I felt like. But it wasn't just that. And it's not just that. It started as a day for me because I wasn't good at giving to myself. And most women aren't good at giving to themselves. And so it was a way, it took me a long time to actually, even though Goddess Day was created, a long time to stop being on my phone. A long time to stop doing the things that I didn't want to be doing on a Goddess Day and really create my own day. And then that day began to filter into the next day and the next day and the next day, where now it's a way of being. So Goddess Day isn't about having to be rich. It's not about having to be a certain type of person. It's not about being super in your feminine or super in your masculine. It doesn't matter where you're at. The goddess just knows herself and she gives to herself. And from that place, for me, the biggest thing is Goddess Day, self-nourishment, self-worth, self-love is not a checklist. And I see a lot of women, like people say to me, Allie, how do I love myself more? It's a journey I've been on for, intentionally been on for I was 26, 14 years, nearly 15 years of learning to love myself more. It's like, it's there, but it's like, okay, shifting the beliefs, the patterns, the programs that we all have, the guilt, the shame, so much stuff that we hold as women. And from that, it's like them being able to connect in with self. We deserve to look after ourselves. We deserve to honor ourselves. And when we make things a checklist, so the question, Allie, how do I love myself more? Tell me what to do in the morning. Tell me what to do at lunchtime. Tell me what to do at night. It's like, it's about, it's not a checklist. It's not a tick list. For those of you that love writing lists, loving yourself, honoring yourself, nurturing yourself is not about ticking it off a list. It's how do you show up in every single moment? It's, are you treating yourself with love, respect, and kindness in every single moment? That to me is honoring of self. Are you honoring when you want to say no? Are you honoring when you need support around the house by asking for what you want? Are you honoring your body by what you put in it? And I'm not saying you have to eat salads, like I'm so not a salad girl, but it's like, are you honoring that? Or are you beating yourself up with everything you put in your mouth? My thing around food is, like, my dad was a naturopath, and he said, you do more damage by what you think about your food than what you do by eating it. So are you beating yourself up, by having the cake or the chips or whatever it is? If I eat something I know my body doesn't like, I'm like, I'm going to enjoy the shit out of this. I hope I can swear. I'm just like, I'm going to have this white bread for me. It's like, oh my gosh, my body does not like bread. And it's like, when I have bread, I lather it with butter. I might put chips on it, whatever it is, and I'll enjoy that, not beat yourself up. Like, that to me, it's in the moment, right? It's not a checklist. It's who do you be and how do you treat yourself in every single moment of every single day.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. We're so conditioned to think we need to be a certain way or behave a certain way, and all the labels and the comparisons and all that sort of thing. And it's really about unbecoming everything you think you should be, and asking yourself the question, what do I want to be? And who do I want to be? And yeah, just trusting your intuition, trusting your guidance, that you know what's best for you. And the more you listen to that, the more you're guided. And it's really exciting to strip back those layers, because it just opens up so many possibilities for yourself.
Writing notes, Jess, thank you. I'm like, yeah, that's good. I'm going to bring that in. That's great. Like, to share with the women. I'm like, I love unbecoming. So cool.
Unbecoming, it's one of the biggest themes, and one of my biggest questions this year is, what do I need right now? And I share it with all my clients and all of my team, and because we can get so caught up in the doing and the doing and the doing, and I'm like, well, what do I need most right now? And is it to say, is it to cancel all my appointments for the day and say, no, I'm going to watch Netflix today? Is it to eat the donut without going, I need to go for a 2-hour run? Like, it doesn't matter. And like you said before, what we think about our experiences plays a much bigger role than the actual physical impact of doing it or eating it or, experiencing it. Because emotionally, our body responds to everything we think and feel. So, yeah, it's huge. So are there any resources, books or podcasts or anything that you do or listen to that you've had a big aha moment with that you could share with our listeners?
Yeah, definitely. So, as I've gotten along in my journey, I've chosen to stop reading so many books. Like, I have been a bookaholic since, like, I can remember. My dad used to get cross at me because all I would do would be to sit in my room and read. It's like, you got to get out of your room. I'm like, no, I'm such a bookworm. The classics, Enid Blyton, The Babysitter's Club. Like, I loved that when I was young. And throughout my whole life, I read. And as I went along in my journey, especially over the last few years, I was coming to a point where, I was reading everybody else's opinion. And what I've come to realize is that us women and men, we all have our own wisdom. And while we're constantly reading or listening, or it depends on the intention and purpose of it in saying this, while we're constantly doing that, then we're taking on other people's beliefs and systems and ways of being and all of that. So for me, when I read a book now, or when I listen to something, it's for a purpose. And it's not because I think that I'm lacking in something. It could be a curiosity. It could be something that I want to expand my knowledge on. It could be something I have no idea about and would like to educate myself on. So I'm really particular. I don't listen to people's podcasts, and I never have. One of the things that a couple of the books that have played a big role in my life, though, I'm such an advocate for women understanding their cycles and, our monthly cycle. And when I say monthly cycle, it's not just like our bleed time, it's every single day of every single month. Like, the month is a cycle. And so one of my favorite books of all time is called Code Red by Lisa Lister. And a second one is Pussy by Regina Thomas Hauser. One that I just read, which just blew my mind, it's right here, hang on. This one I couldn't put down. So I've really, as I said, pulled back from reading books. And this one, first book I've read in a long time where I just couldn't put it down. See if my light's in the way. Hang on.
Sarah Wilson.
Yeah, you can't see it through the light. This One Wild and Precious Life. It's it just blew my mind. It was amazing. And then my other favorite is The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. So there's some books that have had a lot of impact. Michael Singer, that book is on the mind and understanding that we are not the thoughts that we have. Code Red is all about understanding our cycles as a woman. Pussy is about understanding ourselves as women. And that book that goes on to bigger things for me. That goes on to our global footprint or our personal footprint. What's going on in the world, consumerism, living a more conscious life for our planet.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? Like you say, the intention behind what you're reading is if it's to retrain your brain or to take on someone else's belief, then you're really just replacing one thing with another. But if you're actually opening up to the learning process or to actually, satisfy that curiosity around what's next or what's possible, then you can really get a lot of information from books. But I find that really powerful to just protect your energy around what you're listening to and what you're reading and what you're taking in, so that you are still coming back to that place of, is this actually what I'm believing, or is this just what I've been told to believe? So those books are really amazing, amazing books as well. So it's the one I'm loving at the moment is called The Big Leap. Big Leap. Yeah. So it's all about just the unknown, but just being open to it and all the feelings around that change and uncertainty, which is just honoring that journey and just going all for it anyway. Yeah.
Is it Gary Hendricks or someone Hendricks?
Yeah, Gay Hendricks. Yeah. Gay
Hendricks. Gay. Close. Pull that out of the unconscious mind. Such a great book. Another couple of great books that I love that, are just easy reads and, have been beneficial in my journey is The 4 Agreements. Now they have the 5 Agreements. I still like the 4 Agreements. I've read both. But I still like the 4 Agreements. And the same author has done The Mastery of Love, which is a really beautiful book. They're another couple that I found great. And, the 5 Love Languages. So they're books that teach you things without making you wrong, or they're things you can explore and learn more about yourself with. I really like that when I'm reading a book now.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's an amazing way to look at gaining knowledge and wisdom, which just enhances who you are rather than programs you to think a certain way.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Exactly. So, is there any words of encouragement that you might have for our listeners who want to embrace this journey and they just, ready to step forward and honour this for themselves?
I liked your question before. It's like, what do I want? And then it's like, yours was yours. What do I need now? So I feel like both of them are powerful questions. Like, what do I want right now? If you were to have a look at that in every moment, like, what do I want out of this conversation? What do I want in my relationship? What do I want? Like, getting honest with yourself, I think, is the biggest thing. We walk around with so many beliefs that we don't even believe, which is funny. One of the things for me that I did a long while back was every time I would say something that was a belief just on anything, I was like, do I actually believe that? Like, do I really believe that? Because most of the time we don't, And so, really deconstructing that's a whole different conversation, but deconstructing the thoughts. There's like, what do you want in any single given moment, and get honest with yourself. And then from there, once you know what you want, and it might not be a whole knowing, it could just be a basic knowing, which then as you explore, you get to feel into a little bit more and a little bit more. Us women tend to be so numb in the start of our journey of like peeling back the layers and connecting deeper in with ourselves. We've never left. It's just the stuff that comes on top. We don't have to find our feminine energy. There's nowhere to look for it. It's there. It's just what's on top of that. And so layer by layer, we're layered beings. And I think it's just one step at a time. Avoid overwhelm. I see, we can do so much. If we want to just say we want to expand the mind, lose some weight, have a better body, have a better relationship. When we go to do it all at once, it's like, that's a lot. What's the key area of your life right now that you would like to have a look at? And just get clear on that, as clear as you can. And then take some action steps. Like, what can I do today to move forward more? I wrote something down this morning. So, my health, as I was saying, it's the thing that's lighting me up the most, of diving into some different things. And so I'm not a tick list kind of girl. I've tried it. I'm not a 6 o'clock, I'll do this, 6:15, I'll do this, 7 o'clock, I'll do this. It just doesn't work for me. And so I just wrote this up this morning. Oh, hang on. This backwards thing, I tell you, Jess, where are we?
It's all good.
Yeah, it's all mirrored. I'm still sitting here doing these ones. People were watching. It's like, why is she moving like that? It's like, because my head looks weird.
I'm going this.
Oh, it's so strange for me. I really do not enjoy it. Anyway, gets my brain thinking. So, yeah. So just on here, like I have, like, what's important to me? What do I want right now? Well, I want to feel better in my body. I want to, I want to tone up right now. I want to be maximizing the work I'm doing with my naturopath. Like, these are things for me, right? I want to drink more water. I want to get outside more. And so it's like, they're just little prompts. It's like not locked in to do. So this for me is just like, okay, cool. Well, if I have that and I put it up where I can see it, then I'm more likely to do it. So it's like looking at the things in our lives. A lot of us don't look. We just don't look. We're like, oh, the next day, and we'll just do the do. It's like, well, have a look at things. Yeah. And then what's coming through based off this, something I learned from one of the women I worked with, Gabby Kowalski, is a scrum board. And this is part of, it's attached to my scrum board. It's like having 3 columns. And like I've got some up here on my wall. So it's like just in front of me where I can see it. So, you know, us women, we can be really busy, and men can be really busy as well. And we can stay stuck in the mind. And so if we get out of the mind, then all the magic happens. You know, get out of the mind, get into the body, get out into nature, then life shifts for us. And so with the scrum board, the whole idea is coming through to share this. I'm like, where is this coming from? But anyway, someone will get value from this, is to write down all the things that you have to do on paper. Just like choose whatever feels good. I like big bits of paper. And then it's like everything. Like, do you want to write a book? Do you want to speak on stages? What are all the things you want to do that are in your mind that are causing you to be like full in your being? It's like you can't even think of anything else or add anything else in because there's so many things you want to do or so many projects you've got going on. So you write the list of to do. You take 3 of those projects and then put them in a doing section. So first column's to do, second column is doing. In the doing, you do not add any more to that until those 3 things are done, or do one, add one from the to-do list, put it there and work on that. And like for me, we've got the Goddess Day event on tomorrow. I've just had on my scrum board Goddess Day on a sheet, like just like that. And then it's like every step that needs to happen for me to tick off. And I just tick off as I go along. And so it gets the stuff out of the mind. It allows us to see what we want to do. If you love lists, it's good for the list people. It's a different kind of list. And then once it's done, you put it on the done list and celebrate that. We don't celebrate enough. You know, celebrate you, celebrate what you're doing. I see so many people and clients that I work with as well. And, you know, people in my team that are like, well, I just want to reach this and I've got to do this and I've got to do this. And by the time they reach this, they're already out here looking at that. And so they don't even celebrate where they've got to. So we're living a life where we're always looking out in front, looking out in front, looking out in front, and not celebrating where we're currently at. So, yeah, that's a little something that you can do to get out of the head, put the things down and start to work on the projects if you've got a lot on the go.
Yeah, that's really powerful. I call it a brain dump. Nice. And essentially you just keep writing out until everything's out of your head. And you might write the same thing out 5 times, but you just keep writing till your head's clear. And it just creates that space for you to actually look through the fog and feel what it is for you for the next step. Because I find a lot of women, when I say to them, what lights you up or what do you feel passionate about, they actually don't have an answer. They actually don't know, and they're just so out of tune. And like you said before, it's in there. They are complete and whole. There's nothing they need to find. It's just that uncovering and stripping back and giving them the permission, then allowing them the space and then giving themselves the permission to explore it. So, it's amazing when you just move things along the list and celebrate your progress as you go.
Yeah, so go celebrate you, amazing woman or man listening to this. Go and spend some time this weekend really acknowledging, like, what have you been doing? Where are you at in your journey? What have you, I'm not much of a, like, now I'm not like an achiever. And what have you achieved? Have a look back and really give some time to yourself this weekend in acknowledgement for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And for some people, you know, just getting up today might have been the achievement, and just showing their life, that might be the achievement. And it doesn't have to be this big grandeur kind of event that you've mastered. Like it could be just being you and just showing up to your life. So thank you so much.
Just celebrate that anyway. Celebrate you. You're beautiful. 1 in 8 billion. That's no accident.
Yes. Here for a reason, here for a purpose. Perfect. Thank you so much for your time today. We are going to drop a link in the chat for the Goddess Day t-shirts that supports Allie May, and she has an amazing event on this weekend where she's bringing some incredible women together to just celebrate everything around Goddess Day and being women and just coming together in community and sharing life. So thank you so much for your time today. I really, really appreciate it.
Thanks, Jess. Thanks for having me. Thanks, everyone that's been on with us as well. Sending lots of love.
Yes, thank you. Bye.
Bye.